Okay, good deal. One of the activities that I have been charged with, and with the help of the Master Gardeners, is the horticulture judging contest at North Platte on March 31st for the National Association of Teachers of Agriculture, or NACTA, at their national conference hosted by NCTA here in North Platte. And there are several different sections of the contest. One is plant, insect, tool, and disease identification. There are 4 judging classes, and so we will choose what we're going to judge. It may be 4 pots of, there may be 4 foliage plants where we rank them 1 to 4. It may be 4 vegetables. It may be shrubs, it may be bedding plants, whatever's available live for the students to judge. They will judge a live thing. There's also a test, a written test. And so we've been working on another committee on the writing of those test questions. But the big thing that really separates out the really competitive students in this contest is the identification section. And this list is the national list from 2017. And so what we need are 50 samples from this 5 pages of different things. So there are some things in here that we will not have access to that are not going to be ready in March. So we may have to get a picture, and we would like to think of things that we can easily get our hands on. So if we go down this list, and I'm going to scroll for everyone on the sharing, there is the bedding plant list. And so this is category A. So category A are your bedding plants, and they're numbered 1 through 18 here. And so what it will be in the end will be a table, several tables with samples of things to ID and a number from 1 to 50. These students will get this list of all these plants, and they have to match the right codes. So if a coleus does show up at the contest, they're going to write A4 on the answer for that number, whatever the number was for the sample. So there are bedding plants. Right now, we may have some bedding plants ready to go, and they may be very small. We can also use pictures. We can also put out the seed. We can put seed out and see if they can identify it by the seed. So think of things that you know of that you may have or grow on your list that would fit in this section. The next section is turf grass, which is very easy. And to be honest, I'm just going to dig up some plugs and put out there. So they'll have a plug, whatever it looks like on March 31st, that's what they're going to have to be able to identify the difference between tall fescue and Kentucky bluegrass are cool season grasses. They will break dormancy earlier. Your buffalo grass, your zoysia, and your Bermuda grass are warm season, so they will be dormant. They will not be greened up unless they're against a building where it's really warm at that point. But so that's section B. The section C are your ground covers and your vines. And some of those you may have on your property at home. And if we know the correct ID, we can use that. So we can fill that out. So please circle anything that you know that you have at home that you can contribute. And all it has to be is just a cutting. So
like the honeysuckle question that we have. So we could bring that leaf in, or
you could bring the leaf, you could bring a section of the branch, you could bring that in.
Because we just found out that.
Okay.
She's like, I sent that in. I was like, oh.
So you can bring samples in and it can be used for IDs. So on the trees and the shrubs, like some of your shrubs are evergreens, like your arborvitae, but your cotoneaster will probably be like D4 is cotoneaster. I have one in my backyard. I can do a terminal bud cutting and it may have the buds on it. It's not going to be flowering or leafed out in March, but that's part of the challenge of knowing that plant in different stages. So this really sorts out the ones who really know it and those who are here to participate and just get to start knowing. So there's some kids that were serious about doing this. So some of these things we're not going to have, probably not going to have holly, for instance, that's more southern. Like Rosa Sharon, you know, a terminal cutting of Rosa Sharon is going to work. So if you have anything like that, you can trim like viburnums, viburnum shrubs. I've got a viburnum in my yard, so I'll take a trim of it, or a yew shrub. So that works great. So circle anything that you think you know that you have on it. The next one are your foliage plants. So this is your house plant section. And there's lots of different ones that we can use that are kind of cool. If you want a pencil or pen to write with. Nancy, does this make sense to you? And Sharon, does this make sense?
Yes, it does. Thank you, David.
Okay.
Yes, it does.
Okay, so your foliage plants, so you'll see which ones are in here. Yeah, dig up a barrel cactus. There you go. Yeah. Yeah, and that's kind of cool that we bring some Nebraska plants that grow here naturally, because you will have contestants from all over the country here for this conference. So if you don't know what it is, you can send it to me. Yeah, send it to me and we'll ID it. And if it falls in the category, we can use it.
Because we don't really know what.
Okay. So there's lots of different versions here with the house plants. These are flowering plants. I'm going to also ask the greenhouses if I can borrow some things for the day. And like, can I borrow them for the day and I will bring them back? So kind of like a prop. Basically, it's just a list of props. So this is the flowering plant list. So for instance, I have an amaryllis. It's done blooming. It's alive. I could be ornery and I could bring a foliage plant and it's an amaryllis. And just the bulb. Yeah, just the bulb. Someone could put the bulb out, for instance, put it out there by the number and they got to know what it is. So same thing with the daffodil and the tulips are also in here. Oh, I'll let you all have them back.
Okay.
Yeah, you can have them all back. Yeah, I'm not taking your plants. You can have your plants back. I just need them as a prop for one day. So that's all I need them for. For instance, I have a hybrid tea rose in the greenhouse already in a pot. I'm going to haul that thing in and it's going to be ID. So there's some things that I do have in the office, in the greenhouse, and my office. There's some things in my office that would work too. Then we get to the trees, and the trees can be a nut or a seed pod. So if you know what the nut or the seed pod is, acorns will work. We can do the bark. So if you have a bark sample, they have to be able to identify it by the bark or a branch. So it can be any of those.
So if we have bark from our firewood.
Yeah. Yeah, nice sample. We could put it out there. We would idea it. We'd idea it to make sure it falls on the list and then put it out there. So we can also do pictures of trees that are in full foliage. So we don't want to put, we'll kind of mix it in some acorns, some seed pods, some pictures, some branches, stems. So
Here, this is for March 31st.
March 31st.
Well, that's a pile of sticks.
You got a pile of sticks.
We're bringing some branches.
Yeah, bring me some branches. Or I can go out to your yard, we can find what you got and we'll just mark like, okay, we'll use these plants. So, and,
You're welcome to come out.
hey, I like road trips. So I do like road trips. So
We don't know, we have a lot of stuff.
go find out what you got, right? So there's lots of different choices here. They're going to be, we have our pines, which are fine. We'll bring some pines in. We'll have the spruce. One that's kind of cool is the seed pod off of the sweet gum tree. And I don't know if we even have any here, but that's cool. But so they've got to know all the different forms of the plant, for instance. And then this is where it gets a little fun. H, I, and J are a mix of tools, insects, diseases, and equipment. So if you know that you have some of these pieces, you can circle those down.
Bring your mealy bugs.
Yes, you can bring your mealy bugs. You can bring the real thing. If we have some root rot, some dead stuff, I'll pull out a dead plant and bring it and put some root rot on the plate. And you have to be able to identify that. If you have a drop spreader that you use to seed your grass with, we can park that. That's perfectly fine. And there's a weed eater in here. So,
The spray seed that has all the foam for the spray foam.
yeah, the suits, any of this would work great. So, yeah, so you can do all kinds of fun stuff with this list, which is great because you've got all these options. So as you go through your list at home and you think you've got something, circle it down. If you don't know exactly what it is plant-wise, send me a picture or I can come out and look at it and we'll identify it and see if it's something we can use. The second half of this is the form that I would like people to fill out for me, and I'll show you how this works. It's not meant to be painful.
Is that the form that you're saying, this is what I'll bring?
Yes, what you can bring.
Get organized and not have 900
Yeah, 900 is the same thing. Yeah. This is what, and I will send this list out again and the form. Oh, bunch of now. Okay. So I'm going to show you a Google form that has the list. And I'm getting better on that. So this is the ID specimen sheet. And so looking at this, so on bedding plants, if you know you have an ageratum, you type in A1. So everything that you have an A that you know you can get your hands on, whether it be a live or a picture, you type the answer into the link. And you can type as many of those in. So
Is it gonna then identify for you that Lori said she was gonna bring a?
it can tell me, yeah. So I can go up to responses
Oh, gotcha.
and I can see who's bringing what. So it sorts itself out. So Yeah, so here's an example of someone that's already answered and they've already put the codes in. See how that works? So like under shrubs, we got D3, D4, D8. So
And then are you gonna take it, or are we gonna take it and say, well, we have 85 options, which ones are we gonna commit to?
yes, yes,
And then that's why Lori's gonna bring X.
correct. And we'll sort out all the answers that everyone brings and we'll say, okay, we're going to have them. So we don't have a ton of foliage plants and no trees. We're going to have a mix of different things. So
When do you need this stuff?
if you can do this by February 15th or so. So
February 15th.
February 15th, yeah.
Fill out the form.
Fill out the form, yeah. Or you can send me pictures.
You just want the form filled out.
Yeah, form filled out.
When does the stuff come in?
You can bring it to me like the day before, like the 30th of March.
I brought in Ivy on February 15th.
Yeah, you're not going to get anything. The form February 15th to just give me an idea of what can show up. And then the 30th of March for the samples. And we can get a time scheduled in to come out and look at your place. So yes, they'll be brought here to the extension office.
Where this contest was being held. Here.
The contest will be actually for horticulture will be over in the research building, but I'm going to collect everything and kind of stage it and get it ready here. And then I will haul it across and arrange it. So, but I also need helpers to help arrange and put numbers and samples on everything. So,
On tools and stuff like that.
yeah, put your name on it. Yeah. There could be 40 kids go through this, and there is a 2-year college division. So, like NCTA, that's a two-year school. What we used to call the junior colleges, and then there's a 4-year division for the 4-year schools. So there's 2 different divisions for kids. So we'll have about 40 go through it. So there will be tables laid out with all of our samples, and they will go in an order. We will break down the kids. Some will be judging the live classes, some will be taking the test, some will be doing the identification, and they will rotate through. So, and it works like a clock once you get it started. So I used to do this for the North Central Kansas FFA district, putting this contest together. And I used to be the only one that would get all the samples. That's a job. So this is a great opportunity for master gardeners to kind of look around and see what they got and kind of tell me, hey, I can bring this, or I can get a picture of this, and makes my life a lot easier. And then you guys can help with the scavenger hunt, collecting the samples. And then as well, if you want to come for the event itself and help score the test and score the ID, because there will be a key for everything. So, and enter in the scores on my computer. So we'll figure that all out. So yeah, it's a morning. And then we will also walk the students through afterwards with the coaches and show them this is how we place this class, just like in livestock judging. We're going to place this class 2, 1, 3, 4, and this is the reason why. So we explain that. And then we will go through the identification, and usually I'll have the kids say, what is this? And make it kind of fun. So do that. And then the test, and we'll go over the test questions with them. So.
We have other things that aren't on the list.
Mhm.
Check with you, or
That's the official list. So we got to work with that list. So yeah, so this is an example of the responses that I've gotten so far. So, but it sorts itself by individual. of who answered what. So it gives me kind of a feel, but everyone can, this is like a giant scavenger hunt around your yard, your tool shed. If you want to, I have one master gardener that's already found nice color pictures and saved them as JPEGs and then emailed them to me. And so I'm collecting the photos. So, because we'll want some photos. So unless I can find, if someone can bring me a spider mite, a live one, I'm going to have a picture of it there. So to show what it is. So that's how it
Speaking of
goes.
what I have in my greenhouse right now, that's a
Yeah.
real bother to me.
Yeah. So just bring it in and like I have white flies out in the greenhouse on some stuff. And so I can bring a leaf or something in a jar and say, name that insect, it's there in there. So we kind of mix it up so it's kind of fun. So it's not just pictures. Like you actually have the tool in front of you or the seed pod in front of you. So that's basically what this is just basically a giant scavenger hunt.
That's good.
So any questions? Sharon, Nancy, Jeff? Any questions on your side?
No, I don't think so. It would just be collecting any specimens and getting them to you if I
Mhm.
could. And
Yes.
I do have sweet gum seed pods.
Oh, you do?
I
Excellent.
do.
And for anyone who has never seen sweet gum seed pods, they look like aliens. So I'm going to show a picture up here. This is what the sweet gum looks like. This is what their seed pod is.
It's not fun when the power mower hits them and it bounces back on your leg.
Yeah, it zaps you. So that's what the seed pod looks like right there.
Looks like
And they
some
open
kind of a
up.
virus.
Yeah, it does.
It looks like COVID.
Yes, scary, a little too close to home right now, but those pods are, for anyone who's studied their trees, like, oh yeah, that's a giveaway. And it's kind of fun to put these fun ones on here. So yes, thank you. I'm glad you have sweet gum in here. So, but I know going to the parks here in town, Cody Park and the cemeteries have a lot of different trees. So I have been out to parks and cemeteries getting samples before because these events are done in early spring before school gets out. So I was like, man, I wish we had it a little later. Things would be blooming and looking a little better for us. But
no, and that's what I was going to do, David. The example you showed was my list, actually. You could see I did a lot of trees, and I just assumed that we could bring in cuttings at this point. So
yeah,
the longer we wait, the bigger the buds will be. So that will help. So
yes, that will help. Absolutely. So we want to kind of mix it up and have a variety of things. And so also things that grow out here in Western Nebraska, that should be something that should be representative of coming out to a contest. You're going to see some plant material from this part of the country. And you should understand it. If we showed up with a lot of tropical plants, that's not representative of us outside of a house plant,
Do you have a black one?
Yes.
I got some locusts.
Cool. Yeah, I have a black light and they shine on that. You turn the black light on. And so there's some cool things that make this a fun event. And so, we'll have someone for registration to take the registrations and double check. Yes, send pictures that can be used as a backup and as a JPEG. That would be great, Sharon. And so we do that. So we like to mix things around that people get to see. For instance, there's the pothos is on the plant list, and it's a house plant for us. And when I was in graduate school at the University of Florida, the pothos plants lived out in beds, and they would vine up the trees, up under the palm trees on campus. It was an area where we had the slender pine would kind of ended natively. So the paper industry you see in Georgia kind of crept down into Florida. They would go about where Gainesville is and stop. And that's when you started to see more citrus trees and you would get more of your tropicals. So it was a kind of a cool area of flora and fauna mixed all in one area where one plant world ended and another one began. And so, yeah, the pothos would be planted in the beds, and they would be vining up monstrous leaves, vining up the trees. So, and of course, the dinner plate magnolias, when they bloom, they're this big. So beautiful. So now, if we were in the right time of the season, we get star magnolias or saucer magnolias bloom here, but not the dinner plate kind. So, but that's the process that we're using just to get kind of an idea of what can be collected. So March 30th for the samples and February 15th, if you kind of fill out the form for me.
And then
So,
what day is the contest?
the 31st.
So you said juniper here. I think we have a western juniper.
Yeah, Eastern red cedar is a juniper, and Rocky Mountain juniper.
So
Any juniper, yeah. So then they got to know it's a juniper. They don't have to distinguish which one, but oh, that's juniper. So yeah, so lots of choices. And so I wanted to make this fun, and I thought this would be a great way for anyone Master Gardener wise who wanted to help. This would be a great scavenger hunt to check out things, and it counts for your hours. So if you can bring samples to the contest for this, great. That your time doing that counts. If you can help at the contest, that's great. I have another set of people that are helping me write test questions for the exams. So we're getting that going. So different people are kind of picking out which things they like. So, and then if you get to be at the contest, you can see what that setup looks like. So it's really cool. And it's something we can do early on for you to get your hours. So you're not sweating. I was like, where am I going to get hours from? I try to get lots of opportunities for people to get volunteer hours in. So that's it. And so anything that you guys have online, otherwise we can stop the recording and I can let you guys go. So if not, well, I'm going to stop the recording. And thank you so much. If you have questions about doing the form, I will send out the form and the list again to everyone. So please check your email. If you don't get it, send me a text message or a call. Sometimes emails are falling into people's spam or junk folders on accident. So check those just in case if it doesn't come up. So. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to stop the recording.